Hey CHCC, I'm back here with Jesus Castillo, and we're here talking about racism. And the big question that we're trying to answer today is how a Christian should respond to racism. Should we ignore it? Should we stick up and do something about it? We've all heard the flippant comment, the joke. We've seen certain injustices from time to time, and I know sometimes it's hard to do something. We kind of think, well, maybe that's someone else's role. But as Christians, what should we do?
I think as Christians, we're called to be salt and light of the earth. Mm-hmm. What that means is we're supposed to make the community or society around us better. Mm-hmm. And that's our job as Christians, to make everyone better. So whenever racism comes up and we are aware of it, we see it, then we need to take a stand on it. We don't want to be oversensitive and say every little thing is racist. And then we don't want to be, negligent and say nothing is racist. But we have to understand that people who are saying and doing racist things many times do it because they don't understand each other's culture. And this is most of the time cross-culturally. Now, it happens in cultures, people from one part of the country to another part of the country. They're totally different cultures. So we have to try to understand each other's cultures. And not understanding and not knowing each other's cultures, I think, leads us to not or to making racist comments.
So, as Christians, we need to take a stand when we see these attitudes or these injustices, but we also want to do it in love. We don't want to call someone out in front of everyone unless that's the last resort. But we want to pull people aside and help them realize and assume that it's not racist, but that they were making a comment or doing something out of ignorance. Mm-hmm. Like I said, people make jokes, and sometimes they don't realize how it impacts others, and it goes beyond racism. It can go in a lot of different areas, but the things that come out of our mouth can hurt others, and we have to be sensitive as Christians about how that makes an impact on our walk with Christ.
Our testimony is of utmost importance as Christians, and we're supposed to edify and build up people. That includes ourselves and the people around us and other Christians and anybody else whose life comes into contact with ours. Mm-hmm. So as Christians, yes, we have to be sensitive to these issues, and we must always keep in mind that our ultimate goal is to bring people to Christ. And when we are attacking people and not doing it in a loving manner, we're not gonna get anybody to want to be like us.
Right. And so our words, our actions can really impact our testimony with Christ. We're all made in the image of God, and we have a God that made us different. I mean, you look at you and me. We're different. I'm a little taller. You're a little smaller. We appreciate different foods. We have these differences, but under the cross, we're still the same. And God brings those into His Lordship. And we're able to celebrate our differences. We're able to appreciate those differences. And that's what I love about Christ, is that as Christians, we should be leading the way while our culture points out all the things that we're different in. And we deal with some of these mistrust issues and all of these things. As Christians, we can lead the way to build a bridge to point people that, hey, we can get along. We can overcome our differences and some of the things that we may not see eye to eye about.
And I think that's the one of the things that we see in the Bible. There's no longer Jews, no longer Gentiles, no longer slaves, no longer frees, no longer men, no longer. We become under Christ. We become one, and the object and the goal of every Christian is that everybody become one under Christ, where we all are made in the image of God, and so that in itself deserves respect. Mm-hmm. And so as Christians, we just need to be aware of that.
So it's possible to live in harmony with one another. It's
Absolutely.
Possible to live in world that doesn't have racism, that we can bring the kingdom of God where racism doesn't exist to this earth. We'd love to get your feedback. We'd love to hear your experiences about racism. And so feel free to share those with us. You'll see our email addresses in the show notes. And so if you have an experience that you want to share with us, we'd love to hear back from you.